Welcome everybody to the another episode of Road to ECS. This is season 2, episode 2. We are back. Last time we talked with Vesa and we had a chat about last year's ECS, the European Collab Summit, how we all experienced it, because it's been a few months already. Time flies. We are heading towards the winter time now. Nonetheless, and so it's still a few months ahead of us until we will have ECS 26, and we have the mastermind crew with us, thinking and scheming and coming up and trying to one up themselves as they always do. Nonetheless, they are not sitting still, so they are cooking things for us. But in the meantime, we try to a little bit prod their mind, get them to open up a little bit, share a little bit of the behind the scenes, what's going on, what's happening. And in parallel, we also bring guests. Like today, we've got with us the man, the myth, the legend, Lee Stott from Microsoft. Lee, how about just a few words about yourself, who you are, what you do for work, and we take it from there.
Yeah, sounds good, Waldeck. So hi everyone, I'm Lee Stott. I'm a Principal Cloud Advocate Manager at Microsoft in our core AI team. So my team is looking after the AI core, so things that is called Foundry. So that's whether it's Foundry local on your local device to using Azure AI Foundry in the cloud. So with the team who sits behind that, builds a lot of the demos that hopefully you've seen at AI Tour, Ignite and Build, and hopefully you're going to see some of our content at ECS and some of the hands-on labs. So really looking forward to it.
Excellent. So you are doing AI and LLMs and AI, ML, LLMs. Like we can just keep throwing acronyms for an hour here.
I think let's just call it computer intelligence.
Computer intelligence.
Computer
intelligence. That's our long-running gag from the last time we had Lee on the show. We challenged ourselves because, like back then, AI was kind of a hype, right? It was very much like you couldn't probably utter a sentence without hearing AI of some of the related acronyms or words. So we said, you know what? How about we make ourselves a challenge? We make deliberately our life difficult and aim not to mention AI or LLM at all. Instead, when we want to talk about it, we'll use this phrase computer intelligence that nobody else in the world does, just to make it hard for ourselves and see how often we will stumble upon ourselves. So we thought that would be something that we would, come and go, and it's there to stay. So from now on, we refer to it as computer intelligence. Nobody else in the world does that. We do. That's our thing now. Anyway, so we will talk today about computer intelligence. Lee, you've been with ECS for a while. What was your impression of the last one? That was in Germany in May 25.
Yeah, so number one, I loved the venue. So I have to say, ECS is one of these events where I love registration. I think you've got the best registration process ever. You walk into the building, you do a barcode, your ID card's printed out, and away you go. You're into the expo. So that was like the most pleasant surprise of always attending a conference. Is like, what's that registration queue? How long do I have to wait? Straight into the expo area. Again, I love the variety of the content in the expo area. We have like the secondary stage where Mustafa was the key MC last year. We have lots of exhibitions and booth space. So that's whether from like startups to large organizations, and the variety of the stands is amazing. There was a bar there with shooting games and cowboys and big furry animals to the standard expo space. So I love that framework, and again the content was just amazing. I think the variety of the content from both community, product groups and partners was stunning. So I thoroughly enjoyed myself. We had some great keynotes as well. So Marco Castellino, who I know, can we say he's back for this year? So Marco's coming back.
You're first.
So he's going to be talking a lot about computer intelligence and computer intelligence products, which come from both Microsoft and third parties. And again, I thought it was really exciting to be we were at the cusp of computer intelligence last year. And it's going to be really interesting to see, we're a week away from Microsoft Ignite. there's going to be lots of Ignite announcements at Ignite, lots of new products, lots of new services, lots of new showcases. And then we're going to ECS, and then we'll be going into Microsoft Build after ECS. So this is quite interesting as an ECS because it's the first ECS pre-build. It's usually post-build. So, we usually do ECS after build. So we might be showing some things that are coming. We might be showing some things that may be potentially new. But we won't be doing keynotes or announcements at ECS, but we'll be talking about some of the future things to watch out for.
We love this.
If anything else, Lee, a compliment to you. The mastery of you using computer intelligence, it's right there on the spot. It almost sounds like you practiced.
I might have thought it may be coming. So.
I'm gonna be on that show. These folks are totally gonna put me on the spot again, like not falling for that trap again. Going back to what you said first, if anything else, folks, you heard it here first. If you want, if there's one reason for you to come to ECS, experience that great check-in experience.
I do hope that people come for other reasons too. But yes, we do have a good check-in experience.
I mean, it is the whole experience, right, that counts. But it is a part of it, like how the event kicks off, and then entering the expo, the things that are happening there, and of course, content. And at this point, I'm going to give it a try. It's Valek's challenge, and also wanted to outline, like, ECS content-wise is separated in 3 different events, right? And one of them is, and here I tried, the European Computer Intelligence and Cloud Summit. And I need to mention here that Lee is part of the content team there, and he is one of the people responsible for that awesome content that we do deliver during the show.
So with that in mind, Lee, I want to ask you, like, what's your strategy in ensuring that, because like you're picking the content already now. If there's one thing that we learned so far in the computer intelligence space is that things evolve. Like almost every day, there's some new announcement of new tool, new model, new framework, new library. How on earth are you, like, what is your strategy to ensure that whatever you pick now is going to be valuable for folks who are going to attend the event in May next year?
Yes, great challenge. So yeah, it's a huge challenge. So we're actually meeting in December to do the content review. That will be post Ignite. So again, the bigger nice announcements for early next year will be made at Ignite. So we'll have very good clarity on what we're expecting to happen. I think the biggest issue in any of this technology today is really around product name changes.
Yeah.
A new model, a new day, or a new day, a new model. I think that's the known. I think the key things is really around that stability of how do we demonstrate the different aspects of AI. Oh, I said it. Sorry, of computer intelligence.
For a moment, I had no idea what you were talking about. I was like, oh, yes, of course.
There's a euro in the swear box.
The computer intelligent box.
Let me chime in shortly. We have a spin-off conference happening in Sarajevo in end of March, early April. And thank you, Lee, for being there with us as well. Valdek, to your question, the day that Thomas Vochten, Mustafa, Omar, and me finished the content, the very same day or the next day, Microsoft is announcing Azure AI Foundry Agent Framework. So yes. Of course, we didn't have a single session about that. I mean, and conference in March and April, obviously, we need to talk about that framework. I'm looking at Mustafa, I was like, call Lee now.
So 900 Lee.
So we did. I mean,
and we came through and found someone.
Right. And yes, this definitely is a challenge. I mean, I wouldn't say it's an issue because we'll always, but we know, I mean, people who are following stuff. I'm never talking my own course. For example, for the past year and a half, my mainly talking point when I'm talking at the conference was the semantic kernel. We as a company have invested a lot in semantic kernel and build stuff in semantic kernel. Yes, we will be changing the stuff. Yes, I will be able to I will have evolution of what I'm talking because semantic kernel will be part of the Asian framework or will be used for that. But that's the industry we all choose to live in. Computer intelligence is very dynamic space now. So
But I guess yes. So I guess that brings us to an interesting point. And Lee, I'd love to take your take on it. We're in a space where things change a lot. We rename products. There are new frameworks, libraries coming out, basically to cater to the ever evolving needs that we have, and also the abilities that we get from LLM and cloud services and whatnot. Right. So on one hand, you could make a point. Okay, so when we plan a talk or a presentation, you want to stay on the conceptual level. So let's take for example, as what you said, right? Like we have semantic kernel being the library, but what it allows you to do, it allows you to orchestrate things. So you could make a talk something like orchestrating agents, right? And that will, at that level, it's going to stay relevant for the coming 5 years because that need will not change. You will still need to orchestrate LLM, whether you use this tool or that tool. But on the other hand, there might be folks who are looking for specific things and basically filtering things on keywords and product names because they want to learn about exactly that thing. So Lee, like, what's the tip for folks who submit RFPs, submit talk, write abstract, like create content, like your team? Like, how do you handle that in your team?
Yeah. No, it's a really great point, Waldeck, and I think it's So it's like teaching. It's going back to the fundamentals. So when you create your CFP for an abstract, talk title, etc., is try not to be product specific because products and models, more importantly, models will change. Models are starting to get deprecated now. So we're at the eve of that model deprecation. What do people do when GPT 3.5 gets deprecated and it's no longer available as a model? So recommendation one is keep your abstract, your session title and your session description at high level. These conferences allow you to use tagging and keywords. So if there is specific products in your session when you're coming to start advertising it, add semantic kernel. Again, we're in an era where things aren't necessarily going to go away. So frameworks aren't going to go away. It's really around that. What is that story of that orchestration? And if you do change from semantic kernel or autogen or LangChain or LangGraph to using agent framework or using agent framework in a combination with those, that's then how you add those tags to that description. But more importantly, it's how you create that social media and marketing around your session, which ECS can help promote. You can get your your organization or your friends to promote as well. So I think it's much more of that high level abstract, which then allows other people to go, oh yeah, this sounds interesting, or I'm really interested in this aspect. I think the key areas for me around growth at the moment are model discovery. And when I say model discovery, it's model discovery, benchmarking, and evaluation. One of the key things that I really want to try and get across for the rest of this year is evaluation-led design and specification-led design, because I think that's the era we're now moving into.
That's something very intriguing and close dear to my heart. By coincidence, I've been working on something internal at Microsoft for the last 3 months now, I guess, related to evals, and that's also something that I came across first when we started to integrate the small language model with proxy. Basically, which model is the best for me? Which one should I use? Right, because there's a ton of them. Every new day feels like there is new model.
Which there is.
How do I decide which one is the best? And there are benchmarks and there are things, but it very much feels like, I want to buy a car and somebody done eval and say like, hey, this car has a range of 800 miles. Like, that's cool. When was the last time that I drove that far? Never. So how valuable is that test of somebody else under, academic lab circumstances, environment? Like there's no draft, no, the roads are perfect. and they have a number assigned to it. Like, what does that mean to me? So this whole concept, I think, is invaluable. By coincidence, I also submitted a talk on exactly that to ECS. I wonder if it will be picked. Fingers crossed. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Maybe we will join forces. Maybe you will hear me share my take on it. But yeah, like that. That is, if that is one thing that it would be great to get people mind to, is to think about that. Like, start with that. Which one is the best for
Yeah.
me? Not just take at face value somebody else has might not apply to at all.
Let's also not forget there are also sometimes business constraints which we all need to follow from
Yes.
customers, from people, from.
I know where you're going with that, Mistral.
Well,
For example,
I actually did not want to trigger this one, but for the past 6 months, I have heard from 2 customers from Run Events, from our company, that they are going to take our AI computer intelligence product if it's based on Mistral. It's so there's obviously, that's not only technology which is which is deciding. Sometimes those are business constraints
yes.
which we need to see sure. But I want to just circle back shortly back to Lee. He said in my team we are discussing it. I was thinking, he said I had the privilege to getting to know few people from your team, Carlotta, Corey, this is awesome people, and we feel very thankful and privileged that you guys are with us now for a few years with ECS. And Lee, can you tell us more? What are you guys doing? How does it look daily for you, for Corey, for Carlotta, for the other team members? What's the work that you are doing for Microsoft, for the community? All the great articles you are publishing that I'm always reading, and demos that you are doing. Tell us a bit more of the internals.
That answer could go south so well. Like, I start the day, open up the laptop, find out about 20 million new models, and that's the end of my day, because I'm spending the rest of the day trying to understand what's
just being buried. Yeah. So it's interesting. So myself and Waldek are both in the same group within Microsoft. We're both within developer relations. Our key focus is about securing the future of the platform. That's our goal, is to work with developers, whether they're AI engineers, developers, or people new to the platform, to really give them guidance on how to use Microsoft tools, technologies, and services. We've got 3 focuses. We've got a focus around content. So we have to build as a team content. So my team, so poor Carlotta at the moment is buried in Microsoft Ignite. She's running a Microsoft lab at Ignite, so a brand new lab. So she's heavily involved in like validating that lab, making sure it works, making sure the documentation's there, validating it with our ambassadors, with our MVP communities, and with our student ambassadors who get early access to these things to validate and check from that developer zero perspective. The next one is really around community. So, I've just literally got back from Frankfurt. So last week I was in Frankfurt doing our AI tour. The team's somewhere else this week. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they're somewhere else this week doing AI tour. And we're doing AI tour now throughout the year, all the way up to pretty much ECS and build. So we're traveling the globe, presenting a variety of content that we built, which is really around, computer intelligence. It's about how to use these models, how to build solutions, how to use Foundry. And we're looking at really from different aspects. So, we're looking at it from a local perspective. So we've got a great session on using Microsoft AI Toolkit, which is VS Code extension. And we talk about evaluations and observability, starting with GitHub models and doing evaluation from just from a physical, what does the model, how do the models interact or compare directly, side by side, to then building very simplistic agents, which we then evaluate from both a manual perspective and an automated perspective. We've got things like fine tuning. So we talk again about, which model to choose. If I'm going to do distillation of fine tuning, which model should be my teacher model, which model should be my student model, and then what techniques and services do I use for distillation? And we've got lots of hands-on workshops. So we've done content and community. The next key area is feedback. We want to do these events. We want the feedback. If all the feedback was good, me and Waldek wouldn't be here. There'd be no use. We're not required.
There's always room for improvement.
No room for improvement. So we want really the good, and the ugly feedback. The good, bad, and ugly is what we call it. So good feedback, yeah, we've done a great job. We love seeing that. We love seeing that feedback. We love NSAT, etc., about our sessions and our content. Ugly feedback is really key because that's something we can fix. It's like, the docs didn't work for me, or this sample doesn't work, or etc. So, what we do,
The model is gone.
Exactly. We want them to give us feedback on our repos. So everything we try and do is we try and do it under open source. So again, we've got lots of open samples. Worldex got a great project with with the dev tools. I've got a great project with like a customized translator for languages. We want people to utilize this, give us the feedback, try the tooling, try the products, try the models. And really, let's have that feedback. If it's bad feedback, give it us. We're all grown up, so we want the bad feedback. That will help us learn. So that's what we do. On a daily basis, it's super varied. Honestly, it's like Worldex says, something new gets launched or something new is going to change. We have to be that developer zero. We have to test it. We have to document it. We have to build samples on it. And yes, it's very frustrating. we live in a technology world where we are playing with some of this technology before anything has been done. There's usually no docs.
We chose that life.
We chose that life, exactly. And it's great fun.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always about that passion, enthusiasm, and most importantly, tenacity, because things go wrong daily.
Quote a movie from the 90s. You are the docs.
You are the docs.
May I say an anecdote from this morning's team meeting? And why I'm saying this is because it's awesome to see how we are transitioning from what we started 2 years ago. Everybody was hyped about ChatGPT 3.5. Oh, it's awesome, but what do I actually do? What do I need it for? What's my problem for this solution? And I thought we were for quite some time in this, what's my problem for this solution? But now with the time, with this normal maturity cycle, I mean, it happens with all great technology, and this might be this is a breakthrough technology over the past few decades. I mean, let's be just clear about that one. With the stuff that we are doing, I demo this morning meeting prototype. We have an email builder in RunEvents, so you can send emails to your attendees, sponsors, whatever. However, our customers are people in event professionals, event organizers, who are not necessarily people who can format HTML. I mean, that's not their core skill. So what I demonstrated internally in the team this morning was a prompter key to actually write and format emails, which would like change the color of the header box to orange. Instead of selecting the header box and changing the color to orange, it's a computer intelligence.
You only need one prompt. Make it pop.
Sorry?
Make it pop.
Yeah, it's the point is
three agents.
Yeah,
a writer, a reviewer, and a validator.
Yeah, we are coming to the stage where we actually can use this.
Yeah,
where people see that it's not only hype tool for the geeks. It's actually a very, I mean, the mood is settling. It's a genuinely useful business tool if you know how to use it and when to use it and how to apply it.
But that's an interesting point. And I think that comes back to the panel discussion that me and a few others had at ECS last year, which is about like using AI, computer intelligence, in your work. It comes very much down to like it's a muscle you have to flex, and to use it efficiently, you need to train. But it all starts, and it also like it either works or breaks on the ability of you having the awareness, the mindfulness of it's there to help. So what are your, again, putting you all on the spot, whoever is willing to answer, and I guess, Lee, like, you don't have a choice because you are the guest, so you have to. How do you raise that awareness, even though, right, it's your core, the core of your work, like you don't get to choose not to use it, but it's one, to kind of research it and build the content around it, and then two, to actually use it and embed it in all of your work. So what are your go-to tips, strategies, techniques to keep it top of mind. Like, hey, I need to do X. I can do this with LLM.
Gosh, I think oh God. So I think yes, it's about. So let me put this question back to you first of all. Okay, so you're all developers, yeah?
Yes.
You all
Yes.
agree? You're all
I
developers.
am. Addis is PowerPointing.
Okay,
I don't know.
so if I ask you the question, right, are you an individual contributor?
Yes.
Okay. Are you a team player?
I like to think I am.
We have to be.
Are you a manager?
I am managing my kids.
Okay. But are you managing your agents?
Not yet, no. No.
Okay, so I think that's going to be the radical change that's going to happen over the next 6 months. So I'm hoping when we get to ECS, we're going to be quite a few months ahead. And I'm going to ask that question again, how many of you are managers? And I expect the majority of the room who are developers to say, yeah, I now manage a group of agents.
Really?
Yeah.
You really expect them in 7 months' time to really?
Yeah, I do. Honestly, I do. And I think it's going to be a radical change that the development ecosphere is going to go through. I think there's people who are doing it today. Now, I know you're doing it today, but you're not realizing it. That you are now building a group of agents that are being orchestrated to do a task, but they have a human in the loop. And in 90% of the cases today, it's still the developer who is that human in the loop to approve that workflow. So you are managing a team of agents, which so that's my biggest viewpoint at the moment is I've become much more effective because now I have like doubled my team with agents.
But the thing is, to counter argument, like to counter spell at you, you are a manager for work. You have the manager genes. You manage every day. So it's top of mind for you. So transition for you to become manager of the agents is less
very simplistic,
the effort because you manage folks. So it's the same, but like it's another audience. You could even have maybe that would be a great talk for you, just sharing a thing. And I don't know if there's even a room, but management for the rest of us, where you will teach people who aren't intrinsically a manager to become a manager, because that's a different skill set. Like trying to explain what you have in mind in writing, because that's what you need to convey your intent to somebody else.
Instructions.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yes. Right. And I mean, like, it's one to like prompt building, prompt engineering. Like that's the different game, because there are prompts. Like if you look at truly agentic prompts, that's like almost a novel.
Very interesting. Okay, so we are giving design prompts. So if you look at like specification-led design, you're building like everybody's done TDD, agile, waterfall, etc. And they've been taught that through graduate school, etc. What we're doing now is we're saying to these people, write a specification, write a prompt to do X, Y, and Z. So a set of instructions. But why can't you also write business KPI instructions to validate these agents? So you all may be running balanced scorecard or OKRs, or have a set of KPIs and metrics. That should also be part of your key specification document, because then you can go, does this solution or system work from an engineering perspective? Tick. Does it work from a business KPI perspective? Where are the economics? Where are the gains? Where are the values? So I think we're going to be changing from this. And I think it's going to take a long time to happen, but I think this is going to be the next paradigm of change, is where developers are going to have to start to think more around documentation, which most developers hate, but thinking about that instructions base, but then also what is the effort and impact? That's a good word for you, isn't it, Waldo? Impact. Yeah. What is the impact?
Oh, you mentioned the I word.
Doing this activity. So what's the business gains? What's the business profit? What's the bottom line margin we can help? Because as soon as the developer starts to get that in the mindset, it's much easier to go and have that discussion with a business decision maker around, should it be this model, this technology, this service, versus this model, this technology or service.
It's a great
But I,
take.
but I think like that isn't new, because this whole business thinking, that's been around since I began my professional career 20 years back. It was already done. Yeah, you
Yeah.
got to talk to BDMs, and it kind of, yes, there are architects in the team who do, but the devs in the team would basically end up with a bunch of tasks to complete. Like that was the reality. And now they are kind of like, they go a level up, where now they need to explain the tasks to the army of agents that they will have. But
Wait,
now
are
kinda
you
the
telling
owner-
me the devs now need to learn how to make specs which they refuse to read for the past 20 years?
But now, so now the cool thing is, do you all folks know the kind of movie meme of a father asking his kids to write instructions how to make a peanut butter jelly sandwich? You know that?
And it's the same as how to change a light bulb.
but that's exactly. I think that would make a great workshop where you collectively ask folks, okay, we're going to write a spec for this, right? After 5 minutes or so, like, and imagine that you've got LLM that gives them like the almost real-time feedback ability to okay, say, so you submit your spec, this is what I will do. It's like, no. But you said you want me to do this. So then they go back and rewrite. And basically, at the end of the day, they end up with a spec and understanding what kind of thinking they need to employ to get the outcomes that they need off of the ideas that they have, right? Because like they need that feedback loop, because there's no other way to learn this than doing, right?
Oh, saying right. So this is where it gets interesting. So there is ways of learning. So again, it comes back to observability and evaluation. So it's like you do it, you evaluate it. So it comes back to that evaluation-led design. So if you build a specification and build it and it doesn't work, you're not going to know. You're going to have something that tells you it doesn't work or it doesn't perform. So again, you need that eval basis to be able to do that. So I think it's really interesting. I think the biggest challenge as well that developers are going to see is just the rate of change. So I was having a really interesting discussion after one of my sessions in Frankfurt last week, where an organization came up to me and they were like, oh, this is what we want to do. We want to take these specification documents, which contain images, tables, charts, etc., OCR them, then do an LLM that interfaces with it, and you have the ability to ask questions.
OCR them. Did they have them in print?
Yeah, it's all printed.
Oh my God.
Germany.
It's Germany. It has to be.
It's probably
It was in Germany. It was in Germany.
facsimile.
Yeah, you probably need to have,
like,
have agent that can actually get a fax.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, you can build a solution to do that, etc. And they've been trying to do this for the last few months. And then I said, like, have you seen the new Mistral OCR model? So Mistral now do a document OCR model LLM, and then they were like, no, and I was like, I think it might do what you want to do out of the box. So I think this is going to be the other challenge, is that people are trying to build things, and there is new models appearing that instantly solve that huge complex task that you were thinking about. But then it's like, how do you have that agility in your organization to say, let's keep that future horizon scanning.
I mean, this is not even future; this is present or even past. I mean, we all know the story from the year ago, that year and a half, that actually PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, have been refining stuff and being refiners on, and they published a really great blog on this one, how they lost money actually as a lesson learned to everybody else on ChatGPT 3.5, and they invested a lot of money in refining, in refiners, in building stuff of those of it. Then ChatGPT 4.0 came and was better out of the box than anything they did with a lot of money with ChatGPT 3.5.
You don't need no stinking GPT 3.5.
Well, I mean, kudos to
That's
them.
that was what was available to them at the time.
Yeah,
right?
remember, reasoning didn't exist then. Tooling didn't exist.
So
But that's also an interesting point, right? Like
they built stuff on it, but then GPT 4.0 came and said, yeah, no.
But that's also an interesting point. How do you decide whether you go something with the risk that whatever you build might become obsolete because somebody else is going to ship something that is way better,
Use
or
case.
you say, you know what, we don't know. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, but we have a problem to solve now.
No, Baltic, we need to stop. I was thinking about from the run events perspective a lot about that. The moment we stop thinking of how to use AI and
Said
start,
it again.
What?
Said it again.
What?
Computer intelligence.
What? I didn't hear you. Like
Somebody
there
was there,
was
guys.
noise on the line.
and start thinking, how do we solve this problem? And could computer intelligence help us in solving the problem? Then again, you don't care what's inside. Is it some Mistral OCR model? Is it new awesome Mistral Medium, which I love? I mean, so, it quickly became my favorite model. Or is it using classical machine learning that we know for decades now? When you stop care about what flavor of computer intelligence you use, and when you start caring to solve your business problem, I think this is where it turns into value.
Yeah, and I think this is a key point that, I think organizations need to have like future horizon scanning consistently. So again, you could build it into like your learning, you can build it into, how you're creating that awareness within the organization. And I think that's one of the great benefits that we have, Worldec, is that we are constantly doing that. We've had so many good discussions about
even for us, like the things are coming left and right, and you would say that we're exposed to it even more because like we need to form an opinion. It feels like on everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing, and I think we're at this stage now where again using spec-driven development and evaluation-led design it's that continual evaluation of. And again, it's like I love asking the question, right? I asked this question in Frankfurt, and I'm just always amazed at the moment. Like, okay, you've built a generative AI solution. It's now in production, or people are using it. Are you looking at how people are interacting with your system? And honestly, it's like I've said something like I've swore to the audience. They're all like, no. Honestly, like there's like usually 3 or 4
you just
hands
see
that go
heads picking up their phone, right?
Yeah, they're going. Is
anybody
actually looked at the insight logs of how people are asking questions with our agents? Because, like, if we start to do that again, evaluation-led design, we start to understand: is there like really quick, simple fixes we can do that and answer 80% of those problems? Yeah, easy. But until we start to think in this mindset, we're going to be rebuilding the wheel, or not building the wheel.
But that is an interesting point because, like, in a way, the concept isn't new. Like for since years, we always had telemetry, user flow analysis. So, but it feels like it was less of an issue because, like, the app worked in a predefined way. We built them to have specific flow. It was deterministic, meaning like you start the app 5 times, you will have the same route. That's the way to accomplish something. And the only way maybe you could have, or maybe the only thing you might have realized at some point that maybe people who did that part also do that part, and your flow is inefficient, and you can streamline things. But now with LLMs, that's no longer the case. People can throw anything at it, because it's just a token streaming machine, right? So, like, I think the importance of that has increased that many times. You gotta be looking at it. You gotta understand, like, yes, you designed it for something, but how it's actually being used and where is room for improvement.
Yeah. So I think observability is going to be a key thing going forward, without a doubt.
But then this kind of like, we are just seeing this even more accelerating, because when you look at like last 15, 20 years, things obviously changed in how we do things around computers in general. Like we went from products to more of a software as a service part, right? We don't have those cycles where we develop a new product for 4 years and release it. It's continuous thing. And then with LLMs nowadays, it's just accelerating even more. Like, so it's a natural process, and things are speeding up, but it's nothing new. Like if you are in software development, let's forget about computer intelligence and LLMs and everything that's happening. But even in terms of like just building a product on something, it's like frameworks, they are changing constantly. Like if anyone that's been In Angular, for example, like every second sprint, you need to review if you're gonna upgrade your to a new version. So that's things are constantly changing, and this is just another step in it, and maybe
Most
accelerating a little bit more. But yeah,
we agree that we are going to be polite in these webinars and not to use curse words. And you just mentioned Angular.
okay,
That's not
yeah,
fair.
and that's just an example. It applies to
There's
anything.
nothing wrong about
But
Angular.
just
There's the
Angular's
migrant
fine.
community still using it.
I have a product in Angular, so that there is
There
that.
you go. There you go. Preaching to the choir or
Yeah.
speaking from your own experience. All right, folks. Like we talked for a long time.
Yes.
I think it's kind of time for us to get back to the end. But there's one more thing that I want to ask you, Lee. And I think I might have something, but let me see to what extent my gut feeling matches with the reality. What's the if you can name one thing, just one, because I know there are many, but you can name only one. There can be only one. What's top of mind? Like what's intriguing you right now? The last days, like there's this one thing that you can only pick one. You need to pick your favorite kid.
If I can pick one, so I'm really excited around the opportunity of localized models, and you know this, Will, that you're in one of the V teams. So for me, I think the opportunity of localized models and intelligent applications. So and what I mean by this is like a user goes to a store, downloads an application, and the application has an inbuilt, pre-tuned, fine-tuned language model that allows you to interact with it. And we've sort of seen some hints to this, like with Adobe. So anybody who's been using the Adobe products and looked at the latest Adobe AI, so computer intelligence solutions. I said it again. So computer intelligence solutions, where if you think about this from a standpoint of like a business admin, we've seen like Copilot in Excel, and it's just like phenomenal what it can do when it has that contextual understanding of the application and the contextual understanding of the data, and he's able to provide that from an end user perspective. So we all use email, we all use messaging apps, we all use collaboration tools. So if you start to add intelligence to those, I think that's going to be really exciting, and the ability to do this offline while you're sat on a train or on a plane or watching your kids in a swimming pool is going to be amazing. Because I think that's where people now are sort of going, I really wish I had this. And we're at that cusp of being able to do it now in a very simplistic and a lightweight form. We got to a stage where there's some amazing models that are super small. So yeah,
I was
localized intelligence.
I was totally off. I was totally wrong. I thought about evals, like you would be 100% on evals, like picking the right model for the job. So my if we had a bet, I would lose.
Oh, okay.
But I guess that is it. Thank you all, and we will be back with episode 3 and another guest.
We will very soon.
Final words? Any other final words?
Sorry?
Any other final words?
Famous final words.
I need to learn to play guitar because you've all got guitars in the background.
We don't play them actually. They're just there.
You are not wrong.
They're prop.
Middle of agent for that. So.
Yeah. Are we having like an ECS jam session?
Do that. Actually, we were joking about that because we have got few more people in our company that actually play really good. That our party is ECS party, that we do one song as a ECS team.
Yeah, that'd be quite cool.
That we might actually do that. No, thank you very much, Lee. See you very soon in person.
Yes, see you soon. Yeah, we'll be vetting all those sessions that people have done the CFP for. So thank you to everybody who submitted.
And believe it or not, we will not be using computer intelligence to do that. We'll be doing
the human intelligence.
Or human
in the loop. You will
be
the human in the loop.
And to see what is there for the Computer Intelligence and Cloud Summit. It will be Lee, it will be Damir Dobric, it will be Kimo Force, and Barbara Forbes. The other teams are all will be different people, but for the computer intelligence will be for all of you who submitted sessions. Your eyes should be pointed to Lee, Barbara, Damir, and Kimo.
Perfect. Well, I mean, I think we are all excited to wait and hear about the final pick. So stay tuned for that, I guess.
Yeah.
I think
Do you,
so.
do you already know roughly when you will announce them? I mean, of course you actually do. When
Mid
will you announce them?
Mid-December, definitely before.
Mid-December. Okay.
We actually
Christmas come early.
it's
Yeah.
actually even too late for us because we want to have it earlier, but it turned out it's very difficult to merge and to overlap 3 times of those people. I mean, to have Kimo and Barbara and Damir and Lee 3 in the same time was kind of a miracle. So
If only we had technology that allows you to work with them.
but there is a very different dynamics when you are in
Totally.
the,
Oh, totally. For
That's-
one, you're gonna throw things at each other.
well, we don't be throwing things, but there can be heated discussions. I do admit that.
Passionate people. What else would have you expected? On that bombshell, thank you all, and we will be back soon.
See you
Yes,
soon.
so-
See you. Bye.